welcome to the human spectrum. Glad you can join me today. Um, this is so let me get my camera right. Gotcha. All right, yeah. Welcome to the human spectrum, and we got a couple of things we got today that I'm going to show you. Some things you probably already heard of, some things you might not have, and the things you might have heard of, I might have some updates for you if you haven't already been updated. And first thing I'm going to do is talk to you about a very talented comedian. And if you haven't heard of him, his name is Justin Silva. And he recently put out on Facebook a video um, that he captured out in his, I believe it was his backyard in his neighborhood. And I'm going to play that for you. And this is the comedian Silva. And he's very talented, and we're going to go ahead and let you take a look at that, and we're going to see what he saw. It's going to be on mute, but just because of some of the words that are in there, but I'm going to have you take a look at this and let me know what you think on the backside. And I'm going to go ahead and play this, and here we go. Yeah, that doesn't look like an airplane to me. And you can see it's moving. It's not moving fast, but slowly, but kind of maintaining its shape. It's orange. You can see it was refocusing in there. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look like a comet to me because those go fast, unless it's something that we don't understand. I don't know. If you recognize what that is, um, you can see on here he says I'm bugging, and this blank just vanished when I stopped recording. Did anyone else in Florida see that? So if you're in Florida and he put this video up, I think it was last night. Yes, it was last night. I'm confirming that right now. It was last night, Sunday the 12th, 2024, and this is what he was looking at. So if you were in Florida, I'm not sure where he is, but I know Florida's been like kind of a hot spot. But yeah, that's what he was seeing. Interesting. If you've seen anything like this, please leave me a comment. If you are familiar with this thing is, leave me a comment. I'd like to know what your thoughts are on this. Looks kind of elongated. It is moving slow. He's capturing it very well on his camera, very clear, other than just that little spot there where it was refocusing. And then he said when he shut his camera off, it pretty much disappeared. And I think we do see it disappear here, kind of. Yeah, that's interesting. So that was from Justin Silva. He is he's a pretty talented comedian. So if you haven't seen his stuff, you got to check it out. It's pretty funny. He's a funny guy, and I actually enjoy his stuff. Um, Now on the other stuff, um, you heard about the Las Vegas thing where this family that were renting this entire house, I think, and they worked on cars and they did some other stuff in the backyard. And supposedly they saw those 8 to 10 foot aliens, or what they describe as aliens, or something just dark, very dark, but they could see limbs, they can see eyes, they claim to see face. I mean, they all went to their house when they called the cops, and they literally started praying. So we're going to take a look at a little update on this, and there's a guy on here that's analyzing this for media source on here, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at it and see what the update is. Because finally we're starting to get some people looking into this in a technical way, so that we know if what they're seeing is really what they're seeing, or was it just a story. But you do see them at a few points. If you pay attention, you see a few guys going into the backyard to reinvestigate, and then you see them quickly backing up as though they saw something again. So that's interesting. But you're going to hear some analytics from this guy. So let's go ahead and take a look at that, and we'll put that on right now. And let's see. Let's go ahead and play that. Actually, you know what? Before we go to that, did you guys hear of Michelle Reyes? She was on this plane over New York City. I don't know if she was landing or taking off. We'll find out here in a minute. But this is where they caught that unidentified flying object flying really fast past her window, and she happened to catch it. And I mean, this is some amazing stuff. And I'm gonna make myself a little smaller here while we watch this, because, or I'm gonna try to at least. Give me 1 second. There we go. And there it is. So we'll let them do some talking, and I'll see you on the backside, and we'll get into a few things while this is playing. These are some updates, and I believe this features Ben Hansen. You might be familiar with Ben Hansen from that History Channel show, Unidentified, and it's actually a pretty good show. But let's check this out. He does some analytics and technical stuff with this one too. And let's see what we have.
Object zipping across her line of sight near LaGuardia Airport. Was it a bug inside the plane, maybe? Well, she played the video back to look, and no, it was not a bug. Whatever it was.
And when I realized that I had something like this on the video, the first thing I did was I emailed the FAA to let them know what I saw, and maybe it was a safety hazard. I reached out to them. Unfortunately, I haven't heard back from them. They didn't acknowledge my email. And then I sent it to Enigma Labs and the National UFO Database.
All right, I got to say something right there. So, the National UFO Database obviously took her seriously, took her information down, but you clearly heard she said, I notified the FAA, and the question was asked by the reporter, did the FAA get back to you? And her answer was a flat no. Um, I that's just weird to me. Almost like like there's got to be a huddle before they give her an answer, if she even gets one. But let's listen to the rest of this.
And any response?
Enigma Labs was the only one who responded to me.
So
that's
your
how
dad,
I got in contact. Yeah, he was just as baffled as I was.
did you guys settle on the fact that it maybe was a drone? It was going awfully fast to be a drone, but was that the best guess?
He thought it may be a drone, but he didn't think that it should be where it was, that close to the aircraft. So he really didn't have an answer for me. He was just as clueless as I was. He's seen a lot of things, and this he couldn't give me an answer. But if he had to guess, he would have said drone.
So it's a good thing Ben Hansen is here. You know, you host a show called UFO Witness. What do you think about this Tic Tac video, Ben?
This was incredible, honestly, because it took a while just for us to get in touch with Michelle. It wasn't for her posting it on the app. Someone had borrowed sort of stole it from her social media and posted it as if they were her friend. So we had no idea who she was. We were looking up flights and trying to figure out which flight she was on. When we finally were able to contact her, she, for me, has been completely just genuine, sincere. We've now started to analyze the video, and I feel a little awkward saying this with her here, but find no evidence that she faked this or hoaxed it. I didn't from the beginning, but we had to run it through, the proper data analysis, and it's there. It's very clear, which is unusual. So to me, I feel as though this is probably something not terribly far in the distance, but it also there's problems with the theory of it being something as simple as an insect, which I would suspect this was happening, on the ground. We're talking 200 plus miles an hour.
Yeah, that was no insect. I mean, first of all, look at the size of that thing. Um, I wouldn't even consider that a drone. Would you? I mean, let me know in the comments. That looks like something that is of intelligent origin. Obviously, you can see if you know New York City and LaGuardia Airport, it sits more toward the east, um, and toward the west is where the sun sets. You can see the sun clearly if you follow my marker here. You can see it reflecting off of this. Now remember, if you saw back here, this thing went by, I believe, within, to me it looked like one second frame, and maybe two. Ben Hansen would know more because obviously, and he just said in front of her, not to, he made sure not to offend her in any way, but he said we had to go and make sure we went through the debunking process and then we went to the technological process, which I think was great because she's been genuine through this whole thing. And again, they confirmed the FAA has not even gotten back to her yet. And I personally think that's sad. Um, but she did report it to the right people, and he was trying to get a hold of her so that he can, because apparently I think he got a hold of the video, and the video wasn't even released the way she wanted to release it if she was going to at all. So that was sad in itself. But let's listen to the rest of this, only a little more to go.
At this point, her jet is flying. So it passes in about a seventh of a second, and it's present in 5 frames of the video. So there's a
It's
lot we
also a
can
very
dive into
shiny
with this, but
giant,
we're
shiny giant, really fast insect. It definitely doesn't look like an insect. It certainly looks like the tic tacs that we've seen in other naval videos as well. And Michelle, did you say there was someone else maybe on that flight who you later were able to determine saw this as well?
Yes, I had posted the video onto my social media, and one of the other moms on the flight, she said that she had noticed it when she was in the air too. So I wasn't the only one who saw it. So it was kind of, a little more like nerve wracking that someone else also saw what I saw.
Well, I hope the authorities are watching tonight, and I'm sorry to say, that.
Okay, so even the reporter, she was like, I hope the authorities are watching tonight because that's pretty sad that I mean, you would expect the FAA to, get back to you right away on something like this. But I don't know if they're just not taking her seriously or they just don't want to get involved. Because these are agencies that there's one or two in particular are the only ones that would really take this serious, I think, based on what I've been watching lately. And the FAA isn't one of them. So, um, let's bring up the other video that I originally was going to bring up. And this one was about the Las Vegas um, update where they analyzed. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that and let me know what you think.
and look at whether or not there is an artificial artifact added to it or not. And in this case, we can definitively say, to a degree of scientific certainty, that this entity, this thing in the video, is there in the physical reality in which the Kenmore family is also there. Like, this is so critical because you can clearly see through the slots in the fence that there is a leg motion moving from the right to the left side of the screen. And clearly it is behind there. So this isn't just like a head floating in space. This is a head of that is somehow that does not have full opacity, that the opacity of the head of the shadow is only at about 33% opacity versus a normal shadow, which would be at 100% opacity, or an object in the screen, which is at 100%. And this isn't anything that you did. It's just what you were able to determine, that this shadow being, or this being in the shadows, possibly creating its own shadow or smoky filter or cloaking technique, is not only cloaking itself from the people there, but
Now, do you see how when they walk in, obviously they don't see this right away, but they see apparently there is more than one of them. So they're walking in the backyard, and if you're watching, and I'll bring it back just a little bit, you'll notice the second guy starts to turn back as though they saw the same thing again and they got scared. So I just wanted you to know, wanted you to pick up on this gentleman who starts to walk backwards like, oh, there it is, or I see it. So while this guy is describing the shadow figure next to this young man, this guy over here sees something further on down that makes him think twice about going back there right now, and he's turning around or starting to walk backwards, and the other guy too. So I just wanted to point that out before I play the rest of this.
from the people there, but cloaking itself from the camera itself, in that it's minimizing our ability to identify pixels inside.
We're terrified.
It does, and I think that is genuine. If you look, I think they're looking at something towards the back of the yard.
Yeah, so I didn't get enough video on that part, but they were going to show you where these two gentlemen in the front, they're about to back up and say, we're out of here. So that's interesting. So that's the update I wanted to give you guys. Some of you might have already seen this. If you haven't, it's this is a guy by the name of Scott Roger, and he was given his point and his thoughts on what he thought was going on here while these guys were going into the backyard again. But this time, toward the end, you could see they were really nervous and they were getting ready to get out of there. They were like just skedaddling. I mean, they go in and this guy backs up, but so yeah, that's some interesting stuff. Let's see. I think that's what I have for today. Like I said, and like I always say, if you have any videos or images of interest, please send them to me. I would appreciate it. And we can put it right here on the human spectrum and we can analyze these things together. I have some more stuff that I've been working on and I'll be putting it up soon. So until then, take care of yourselves, and don't forget, you can send it to, and I'll leave it in the description, djcapone46 at gmail.com. That's djcapone46 at gmail.com. And you can send it to that email address. And there's a second email address I'll leave in there. And you can send videos, images, any of that stuff. Around 5 to 10 minutes limit on the videos. And we'll definitely put it on here, and we'll analyze it together. And hopefully I'll get something really good soon. I'm always looking for new stuff. So if you can send any of your images or videos or something you may have caught and that you think I might find interesting, like I said, UAPs, paranormal, stuff of that nature, send it in and we'll go over it together. Please leave your name or handle, not your last name, and just the area you're in, city, your town, or your region at least, so we have an idea in case someone else may have saw the same thing. We can compare the two, especially if you two don't know each other. That would be great. So send me whatever you have. I appreciate it. And definitely subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And I appreciate you joining me today. I'll have more coming soon. If I don't have another one tonight, definitely have one for you tomorrow. From the Human Spectrum, Dave Rodriguez. Have a good night.